Okay, so my brain is not totally in like the best, like clear headspace for this, but there's this amazing opportunity right behind me, which really doesn't come along very often, which is that Luke is camera ready and wants to get in the spotlight, and there's absolutely no way that I can deprive anybody of. Oh my gosh, look at that little face. I have to oh my gosh. I just have to share it. Like, look at that. I mean, it's infinitely watchable. And even if you put it on mute so you don't listen to what I have to say, I mean, it's like, who knows? He could spring to action. It's also really pretty packed with suspense. So yeah, look at that little face. I mean, I can't even handle it. He's just he never sits back there and he just climbed up. So I'm thrilled. So I figured, okay, today's been like full of technical difficulties. Actually, a really good day for me personally. From like working on kind of like work stuff, personal stuff, all good, all good. Hopefully, the same for you. But I wanted to make some progress here in reading um, from the First Hub Techniques and Exercises. Now, the last the last time I did this, which was I think yesterday, was we talked about we read through the introduction to this section, and so part of that the introduction to techniques and exercises for First Hub is about really reclaiming rest and like creating like a sense of being able to feel physically safe. We did the dorsal vagal elephant ears. So if you have been feeling really like kind of overloaded and tired, it's a really good exercise to revisit. It's a video that came before this one, so please consider checking it out. But for today, I'm going to see what seems reasonable. I think I'm going to read the Sanctuary and Grounding. So let's get into it. So, okay, let's take a deep breath in. Inhale through the nose and exhale through the mouth. Please give this video a like for Luke and a comment about on a scale of 1 to 10 how cute he is. 11 is also an acceptable answer. Can I put an 11 in there? Hold on. I'll start. 11. Okay. So I'm going to read a little bit from this, and then I'm probably going to go and take a nice little walk. You can probably hear the birds in the background, which is really nice because while I'm also fortunate, I happen to also live in like an area like nature around me. So best of both worlds. So anyhow, so sanctuary in many ways it exists in this intersection. So anyway, so okay, I'm going to start. So sanctuary and grounding. So this is a potent practice. And when you feel intensity rising, unless you feel safe and supported, it's always better either to slow down or stop, returning to a sense of safety. The first step in your practice is to establish a safe place you can return to for rest and sanctuary. Remember that the first spell a magician learns is one of protection, and that's from chapter 2. So, this is about creating, it's kind of like one of the ways I look at this is that when you're learning how to ski or snowboard, one of the first things you're taught, and even I think in martial arts, is how to like fall and and land rather. And so this is really about when you feel intensity rising, and it does with this practice. Oh my gosh, he's making his move. Look at that little guy. So cute. Oh my gosh. Stop it, Luke. Oh, he's looking at the wall. I guess he's like, he wants to just be present for you, but not necessarily stare into the lens. So anyway, so yeah. So just an important thing, and I think is, and another side of this is that many people who are practicing this are we're coming from cultures of intensity. And, you have like the, Iron Man and the, Tough Mudder races and even the, Barry's Boot Camp and CrossFit and a lot of stuff that's about really even how we work is about intensity. So ignoring signals that things are becoming like that our nervous system is not only becoming activated, but it's crossing the threshold into overwhelm, is that in and of itself is a skill. And when we're talking about what we're trying to create with Parinama is just to be able to be aware of that so that we can really turn to the tools we have and create more awareness about how to respond in these situations. And if we have to remain in them, that we're aware of what's happening and able to actually like work with it in real time. But also it's like how we can understand how if we've had too much to be able to say it's enough and go to a place that restores us. So a safe place to land and conscious reclamation. So the physical boundary of a home is a good place for acts of comfort and restoration. Being surrounded by people you trust, listening to music, having a comfortable place to watch TV or read, eating a meal that provides comfort, taking a bath, caring for a pet, boop, having a comfy blanket and pillow. Reduce stimulation by playing some calming instrumental music at low volume, dim the lights and lie down. Establishing this infant vibe is a first hub essential, and how we allow ourselves to surrender to comfort and nurture has everything to do with how restorative it can be and can often be reflected in the quality of our sleep. So some folks experience shame with these innocent activities. A high-performing executive I interviewed told me she'd be more comfortable telling me the details of her sex life than disclosing the amount of time she spent on the couch and in bed watching TV. And the urge to rest resists attempts to be subdued and can even slide into denial. So people who spend hours a day streaming TV and consuming social media have this urge just to slip outside of their self-awareness when zoning out replaces restorative rest. Yeah, and this goes back to the elephant ears exercise, which is that like when we're getting into like dorsal, like in the polyvagal theory, into like shutdown in the sense where we can't really experience restoration. We're either feeling shame and guilt about it, or we're becoming so overwhelmed that we're like trying to restore without any type of like cognitive awareness of what we're doing, and that can create also shame. People wonder. Back to this executive was a good example of someone who felt really shamed about how much rest they were requiring. But in this case, and this is actually an amalgam of multiple people, the executive that didn't want to talk about how much they rested was the amalgam was a number of executives that when talking about the stresses that they were experiencing at work, how overwhelmed and overloaded they were. And, burnout being the epidemic it really is about being in these absolutely maximized and maxed and highly activated nervous system states for long periods of time. So there's that. And, and one of the things, I think about, and this is, I really want to be careful about how I say this so it doesn't sound judgy, because it's really, the intention is not to judge, is that, you have folks being, talking about being like so busy. People are like, I'm so busy. And like having watched like enormous of like stream services and what like having done a lot of like spending a lot of time on social media, and so I flag this to be like point to the need for this particular restoration and with compassion to realize that it's like that craving for that restoration is actually like, and also just giving ourselves like real rest is, yeah, it's really nice. It really it has like a huge return. It has a really big return in terms of like activating the quality of life. And some people get really surprised by what it's like to not need to rest as much, even when they've like entered a point where it's becoming truly restorative and it's not becoming dissociative. So, like, just all of a sudden, how much more life is available for folks that this applies to. So, okay. And the urge to rest, resist, boop, 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 streaming. Okay. Social media, urge to slip outside self-worth. Okay. Screen time tracking apps can leave us a bit shocked when we see our behavior displayed objectively. The trick to getting the most out of this time is to give it to yourself as a conscious act of recreation and restoration without guilt, shame, or denial. And that's, an opinion, obviously, but yeah. So, good conversation piece. Okay, so in times of anxiety and overwhelm, when the home is not available, find the sense of safety within your physical body by grounding yourself in the current moment without over intellectualization. Feet on the earth, stand in the grass, or the VU exercise of gently humming the vowel sound. VU, see chapter 8. So this is another polyvagal, which is deeply soothing, which is humming, taking an in breath and and so I'll stop but what we're doing is it creates a vibration, and a very particular vibration that like generates a sense of like soothing comfort. So it's an inhale and then so finding that and doing your VUs. It feels, like it's like one of those things where you really like you do it a couple times and it's like similar to elephant ears. It's like, oh my gosh, wow. And what a great tool that is to have. So just to remember that you can go, even just take a walk out on the street, put a mask on. It's one of the, like when everybody's wearing masks, I'd love them because I'd walk down the street singing. Nobody knew it was me. So yeah, you could do your VUs, take a walk down the street and just, yeah, or go wherever, go in your car, go to the bathroom, go to a different floor in your office, do it. Take care of yourself. So, overwhelm is often felt as expansion beyond the direct experience of the body and can involve feelings. Try to bring yourself back into the sensation of your body through becoming aware and alert, which is different from hypervigilance, which is an activated nervous system prepared for an incoming threat. So, this exercise can help by bringing awareness to the senses that are all happening within the body. Look around and find. Now, so we're going to do this, but I also want to talk about that there are other practices such as like holding an ice cube. People do a lot of different things as far as being able to like really bring yourself into the current moment. But if you're sitting in a meeting, for example, or if you're in a situation where you find yourself becoming really overstimulated and that your nervous system is starting to max out, is look for 5 things you can see. So let's do this right now, which is like scan the room and just tune on it. Of water and kind of the weird filminess from the electrolyte mix. I'm going to look at my phone. I'm going to look at my pen. Now, 4 things you can touch. I'm going to touch my cat. And touch my knees and my legs. touch my pen. I'm going to pick up this book. 3 things you can hear. So I can hear the traffic. I can hear the water bubbling in the fish tank. And I can actually hear people passing by. I can hear the rustling of their clothing, oddly enough, which is kind of odd. 2 things you can smell. I can also hear birds. The most obvious sound of them all. Why would you do that? I don't know, maybe. I can't really smell as much as I can feel the temperature of like the colder air coming in through the window. So smell the skin. Yep. I'll do that in the meeting. Yeah. You can see my hair. Yeah, my hair smells kind of like shampoo or product. So okay, smell. And then one thing you can taste. So we'll do this filmy glass. Okay. All right. You probably heard the ding from my phone. So anyway, so take a deep breath in and out. And the thing is like 5 you can see, 4 you can touch, 3 you can hear, 2 you can smell, 1 you can taste. So, what I think these are particular exercises that are really good when we've limited freedom. So in a meeting, in a conversation, is to like bring yourself back into your direct experience. So that is like, so you can see, you can look in a room, if you're meeting with somebody and you're starting to feel activated, things you can touch your phone, you like you can just touch, your like knee, phone, pen, whatever. And then 3 things you can hear. So maybe you hear the air conditioning system in an office building, or people chatting outside and you're listening to the person in front of you talking, whatever, even maybe the fan on a computer, somebody's ping on their phone, and things you can smell, smell your skin, your laundry, your hair, whatever, and take a little sip of water or something, or eat a candy. So, so the temperature thing, people ice cube and, eating candy or something. So, okay. So clutter from outstanding tasks can turn a sanctuary into a visual reminder of feeling overwhelmed and not having enough time. So reconnect with your physical space by decluttering and cleaning to reduce the subtle tension while clearing space for new things. Sometimes the same physical objects that feel like they are creating safety and security actually weigh us down. There's a distinction between something that you're using that sparks joy and something that takes up space that you've held on for a future need or emergency. The inflating adaptation will tend to hold on to things and to have more clutter. The shrinking adaptation will often be excessively minimalist. It doesn't matter which ends you have. The focus of the Parinama method is to find dynamism that supports feeling good in your body, in your home, as often as possible, with the ability to appreciate belongings while also being able to let them go. And just a final note on this. I was actually having a conversation with my housekeeper today, and this is something that I have really thought about a lot, which is the divinity of cleaning. And and it was interesting because she brought up the topic about kind of the idea, like, why would God want me to clean houses? And that her shift had come from understanding that anything you do while you're present is like an act of divinity. And my thought on it was that if you've ever entered a home that's been cleaned, like, you can experience that uplifting feeling, and that, like, and what, like, really what divine work that is Truly, the woman who used to clean my house up on the North Shore, had a very clear relationship with that, where it was her life purpose, and the passion was incredible, that she brought into pick, like really being, using earth friendly environmental products, and even just her passion for like before and afters of things being clean. It's just beautiful. Like walk in the home, and it was like really a holy, uplifted experience. So, and this goes to, as a final note on this, is that I would say that, the idea that everyone is important, like there's just the truth that every single life has a really important contribution to the world. And so, so some people might say, well, who's going to work the assembly lines, or who's going to clean houses, and who's going to do this stuff? And my response to that is that this is all important work, and it's really about when it's in alignment with your own expression of living your life in a way that is actualized, all of this stuff becomes divine action. And there are, and just because there's like social hierarchical beliefs that put certain work as being higher value than others, that's part of the deconstruction with what we're doing here with Parinama Method, is really reevaluating that stuff and questioning it, and realizing that all people's contribution is very valuable and of interest. And yeah, 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 yeah. So yeah, and should be, and should be treated as such. Part of the issue of being able to connect with meaning for many people is there is like the fear that what's meaningful for them is actually work that, or like stuff that is not valued in our culture. So yeah, something to contemplate. So anyway, thank you for joining and watching. If you've made it this far, I absolutely love you, and I'm super grateful. Me and Luke, look at him looking at the wall. I think I'm gonna have to give him some snuggles now. Can you blame me? But anyway, I'm looking forward to next time, and wherever you are, I hope you have a really fantastic morning, afternoon, evening. All right, love you. Bye.